Hey, what's up, Drivetrain? It's Dave. We've got a special custom build going on today, and you don't want to miss it. All right, so most of what we do around here is related to BMX racing. Some of it is BMX jumping, and today we're talking about my BMX trail bike. This is an S&M Credence. It's a 21.25 top tube, I believe, but the challenge is my rear triangle. So I recently swapped wheels and put the wheels that I had on this bike on my daughter's race bike, and then I took her race wheels, which were some more basic wheel set, and stuck them on. They are working fine for what I need them for. It's just a trail bike, but I want to show you a challenge I was having because the back wheel would move up sometimes. I recently went to Taylor Farm Park, the new park, and if you haven't seen that video, I'll link that up here as well as down in the description, and you can check out the new park we have in our area out here. But I went there, I took 2 laps, and my back wheel immediately was like, skirt, 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 skirt. Didn't have any tools with me, like a bum. So I drove down to Chad's shop, fixed the bike up, came back, jumped some more. So I got an interesting idea. I went ahead and executed on that idea. Let me show you what we got here. We're gonna go to the bike, which is that way. So if you can just turn around and walk that, okay. So it is super bright out here today, and that's fine, but we're gonna catch the info. This here is my trail bike. Like I said, it's an S&M Credence. Got some Odyssey R32 forks up front, salt cranks, profile sprocket. Anyway, parts is parts is parts. Here is what we created. Because this thing was moving up forward, I've got a washer with what appears to be a booger weld on it, but I'm gonna pull this off and show you a bit more of what I created. I made my own spacers. Now, I'm sure you've seen where you can buy some washers that have a sliders, or not a slider, but like an adjustment type piece that's welded into it that sits in the dropout. That helps to space your wheel and keep it locked in place. My rear wheel is so far back in the dropout, just based on the gearing, because I'm running like a 3613. Oh my God! Which is more like a race gear than a trail gear, but anyway, the back end sits really far back. I love it. It makes me feel stable and comfortable. But for that reason, I couldn't just buy something off the shelf. So let's show you a little bit more of what I did, my ingenious idea, and my bad welding. So if we get on in nice and close, first you see a spacer in here. This is a 3/8 axle inside of a 14mm dropout. And so the pegs that I was running have a spacer. You can see that spacer there. I took the pegs off because I was just running trails, not really doing any grinding. So I went ahead and put that in there, and that gives me the spacing to keep the wheel centered like I need. But I still, when I put this nut on there, it barely covers up the material and sits on the frame to hold it tight. Anyway, it's got the little grippy things on it. So I was running a washer like this, but what I did, let me back this thing out. What I did is I took a nut. I found a nut that fit into the dropout, and it was a little too wide, so I had to run it on the grinder to make it not as wide, because it would poke through and out this way or inside. So I ground it down so that it was the same width as the spacer that I've got here. Then I found out how far back I needed it to go. And what I did was I ground down the front side. Actually, was it? Nope, the back side. I ground down the back side that's facing the wheel so that the front side fit well in this little hole. Then I tossed a little bit of weld onto it with my MIG, which if you've ever tried to MIG weld onto zinc coated items, it splatters, it's horrible, but it just needs to hold it there enough that it doesn't move when I put the wheel in. The washer, the nut, the pressure on the dropout, that's all gonna hold it in place. So eventually I've got a little bit of welding in the inside. Most of it is just 2 little tacks out here on the outside. And then when it fits in here, it lines up. I can push the wheel all the way forward and that's gonna be the exact chain tension that I need. And I made 2 of these, one for this side, one for the other side, and I measured them with calipers and all that stuff, so they are the exact right length. Then I can just stick the nut on here. Again, push the wheel forward. That's my chain tensioner, so I know exactly what my chain tension needs to be. And now I've got chain tensioners for my trail bike.
Yeah, boy.
So again, once it's in there and attached and locked in, you see it just sits up in the edge of the dropout like that. Nice and cozy. Here's the other side, the non-drive side. Also tack welded, ground down, little booger weld in there, but she fits nice. So I really do enjoy riding this bike. I love it. It is a little shorter than my race bikes. Obviously it's a trail bike and it still feels great. I love how it rides. I love how it rolls. And but ever since I swapped the wheels, I have not loved it. And so this has been on my mind for some time. Got the idea, finally was able to execute on it, put it together, did some welding last night, did some grinding this morning, got it all in there, and it took it through the alley, and it rides great. Chain is not gonna move forward, and so that's the goal of it. So now we can just get on the trails, go rip and ride, and yeah, hey, listen, is there something fun that you're building? Let me know down in the comment section below if there's something fun that you would like to build or a problem you'd like to solve on your bike. I'd love to know about it. Make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.